Gabriel stretched and yawned. "Must be getting old," he said. Only 5 o'clock, and he felt ready for bed. They were currently sitting in a field, having just taken a hot air balloon ride. Something Nish and Pearson had enjoyed immensely, primarily because of how nervous Gabriel had been. The way he swore every time the balloon shook had been the main highlight of the show. "Sweet terra firma, how I love you," Gabriel said, gently caressing the soil. "I didn't realize you were afraid of heights," Nish said, trying her best to suppress a trill. "I'm not. There's just something about being suspended with just a wicker basket between me and a splatty end that I do not find appealing," Gabriel explained, lying on his back, making a grass angel. "Oh, I know. Tomorrow, why don't we take a submarine down to the Bavarian Abyss? It's over a mile beneath the ocean," Gabriel added with a smile. "That's not funny. I don't know how you could ever be so calm. The water pressure would crush even you," Nish pointed out. "I don't know how you can be so calm you can't fly in this gravity," Gabriel countered. "I'm sure we'd manage," Nish replied. True, taking off was near impossible, but she was reasonably sure that if push came to shove, they could land without too much difficulty. Nish had just not been willing to risk it, just to find out if she could. Gabriel began playing with an errant blade of grass, and Nish remembered Gabriel's job. "Why did you become a gardener? You never said," asked Nish. "There's no great mystery, really. Jerry all liked plants. We would often go walking in the woods, and we would often take seeds and things in the woods and then take care of them, so I had some practice," Gabriel explained. "Plus, it's very hard to get overly attached to plants, and after what happened to her, it seemed like the best option," he added, sitting back up and leaving his pseudo-grass leaf alone. "You have friends at work, though, right?" asked Nish. "Friends is a strong word. Colleagues, I feel, is more appropriate. You, Pista, Hewler, and Rizzotti are the only friends I've had in over a decade," Gabriel explained. Pista had been ignoring the conversation for the most part. Any talk about Gabriel's sister made her sad. Her mood improved quickly upon Gabriel saying clearly and unambiguously that she was his friend. She immediately hugged him. Her antenna danced over his face, and Gabriel said, "Okay, I love you too." Unfortunately, Gabriel's generic statement only worsened the situation, and Pista clamped down even harder. Gabriel wondered if Nish and Pista should start bringing an umbrella with them everywhere they went, as they sat in a cafe watching the water patter against the windows. Pista was currently colouring in some pictures with the crayons the establishment had provided, while Gabriel and Nish sipped on drinks. "How frequently does it rain in Turashin?" asked Gabriel, making idle conversation. "About once or twice a month," Nish replied, as she watched contemptuously everyone else move through the rain without issue. "It's very fine. Nothing as heavy as this," she added, pointing out the window. One passerby noticed this and thought Nish had been gesturing to them. It was a brief moment of embarrassment for the two of them when they realised it had just been a mistake. "So, where does all your water come from?" asked Gabriel. "Artificial underground aquifers. We stopped using the real ones when the sinkholes became a real problem," Nish explained. Gabriel rubbed the back of his neck and spent a few moments working up his courage before stating, "You know, I would quite like to visit Yeosu one of these days. I've seen a few pictures and I've never seen cities like it." "You could stay with us. I'm sure Pista would like it," Nish replied. She liked the idea of showing Gabriel around her home. She also liked the idea of bringing Gabriel along on one of her digs. Nish found herself imagining, unintentionally, Gabriel shifting logs with nothing but muscle strength. It gave her feeling. "Is Gabriel coming home with us?" Pista asked, leaving a big streak across her picture. Gabriel could not help but think Pista saw him as some giant puppy she was desperate to bring home. "No, he's got 9 months of his holiday left, but he might come visit us one of these days," Nish corrected her daughter. Pista was simultaneously disappointed and excited. She knew that she would have to say goodbye soon, but the possibility that it would not be forever was something. "So, what's your address?" Gabriel asked, taking out his PDA. 4 Dodagami Drive, Atliran Way, level Nakagruga, Turashin, Ralsov Peninsula, 1650 PS, UY23J, Nish answered. "Type that into any sat-nav on Yeosu, and you can't go wrong," she added. "Will I even be able to get around to Tofanda City?" Gabriel questioned, as he imagined a place designed for those that could fly would have few paths or ladders. "Of course you can. Not all Tofanda can fly, the old, the sick, and the disabled. Not to mention we're not long-distance flyers. The record is something like 15 minutes. There are tons of walkways and ramps," Nish explained. That was good to know. And yes, it made perfect sense now that Nish had said it out loud. Gabriel sat alone in his penthouse, idly staring at the recommendation he received after finishing his last video. The sun had set, and the only thing illuminating his face was the glow from his screen, as Elohu was currently hidden behind the clouds. He had been doing so for the past 15 minutes. On top of that, it was well past his bedtime. Not that he noticed. At present, Gabriel had only one thing on his mind, though he was not sure exactly why he was thinking about it. He had assumed his little crush would have faded by now. That being said, he had never had one before, and he wasn't sure how long they lasted. His current train of thought was whether he should say anything. The most significant portion just kept telling him that his feelings were just infatuation. Nish just so happened to be a woman who gave him the most attention in 15 years, and that was all there was to it. On the other hand, he really did not know how relationships worked, other than familial ones, naturally. For all he knew, they did start with superficial infatuation, before becoming something with real significance. Maybe I should have paid more attention to my schoolmates, Gabriel said aloud. He imagined they would have found the whole situation, if not easy, then at least more navigable. All Gabriel had to go on were romantic dramas and comedies. The one thing he was certain of was that he needed to tell her if he wanted something more concrete. But did he? Gabriel closed his laptop, moved it out of the way, and slammed his head against the table. Something he regretted quickly, as tougher bones and reinforced muscle did not mean dulled pain receptors. Rubbing his head, Gabriel wondered what his life would be like if he were not so indecisive. Not that any of this soul-searching mattered. Deep down, Gabriel knew what he would do. It was just in his nature.